campus of Xavier University.
Look.
WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Senator Mark Warner is criticizing President Trump's choice for acting director of national intelligence.
Most all of my Republican colleagues have agreed and called him out. No, I'm not sure there's anyone that said this guy is qualified.
Appearing on Fox News Sunday, the Virginia Democrat called Bill Pulte grossly unqualified. A New York jury has convicted a man of manslaughter as a hate crime in the killing of black dancer O'Shea Sibley. Dmitry Popov was also found guilty on other charges, though acquitted of murder as a hate crime. Sentencing is set for June 30th, bringing some closure to Sibley's family and the LGBTQ+ community. And Jay-Z is headed back to the stage with a series of major shows. He's set to perform a 30th anniversary concert at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles on October 23rd, along with a Paris show on September 10th and a 3-night run at Yankee Stadium in July. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily express the views or opinions of Equity Media, its management, staff, or affiliates of WBOK.
Good afternoon, greetings and salutations. We welcome you to the Hump Day edition of Black to Business, and you're in for a treat today because I have with me none other than the executive director of Hope Ignites New Orleans, which is formerly the Boys and Girls Club. I have Dr. Kim Evans Rugan. Dr. Kim, how you doing today?
I am doing well, and I want to thank you for inviting me. We have some exciting things going on, and I'm glad to share it with our citizens of New Orleans as well as with the Black Chamber, because it takes a village to raise our kids.
Let's start raising.
Yes.
So, Dr. Kim, can you please tell us who is Dr. Kim Evans Rugan? Tell us a little about yourself, including your educational and occupational experiences.
Well, Kim Evans Rugan is a little black girl from the 9th Ward. Grew up in humble beginnings. My parents were blue-collar workers and wanted more for their 3 kids. And that's what they did. They worked to make sure that we had what we needed and some of the things that we wanted. I did not grow up in privilege. But I come from hardworking parents, and I'm hardworking as well. I started my education in the Catholic school system. I went to Catholic schools all my life. Went to an all-girl high school, which no longer is in existence, the Academy of the Holy Angels, that I enjoyed 4 great years, and I think that's what formed me to be the woman that I am today. From Holy Angels, I left and went to St. Mary's Dominican College. And by the way, my sister said, why would you leave an all-girls high school to go to an all-girls college? And I'm like, well, they were giving me money. And, I was just a different child. Got my bachelor's of accounting from St. Mary's Dominican. I was the last graduating class. And then from there, I got my MBA from UNO. And then I ventured out as an older adult, a more mature adult, and got my PhD in urban higher education from Jackson State University. My background includes academia. I have taught at the high school level. I've taught at the college level. I have a leadership background. I have served as a vice chancellor twice and a vice president of a nonprofit. I guess my background encompasses fixing things. I've always been a nurturer.
Okay.
And most of the organizations in my career, right after Katrina, I assumed a position as Vice Chancellor of Technical Education, a Vice Chancellor of Region 1 for Louisiana Technical College, and I had to rebuild. Like, I had to start all over again. We had 5 campuses. I lost 2, and I had to rebuild those campuses, bringing back all technical programs, the cosmetology program, the barbering program. I just really had to rebuild. Then we merged with Delgado because there was a movement by the governor at that time. We had too many technical college campuses. We had 43, and they merged us with our community colleges. So I moved on.
How many did y'all go down to?
Just the community colleges that are in the state. We have no more technical colleges. They're all merged with their region's community college. And my region was Delgado, which was a great experience because I met some phenomenal people at my time at Delgado. But then I got an email one day asking me, or do you know anybody? No, your name came up to be for workforce development. Do you know anybody, or would you be interested in a position at Goodwill as vice president of workforce development?
Okay.
And I'm like, well, yeah, sure. So interview, got the job. When I got there, it was a small department. They only had like 8 employees and a couple programs. My CEO at the time stated, if you want to grow this, we give money, but you got to find funding.
Right.
So, I started, that's why I really got my knack for institutional advancement, because I started there in February, and by May I secured my first $1 million grant. Didn't even know I got it. I was on my way to the beach because I'm a beach bum. And my board member called me and said, congratulations. I said, what are you congratulating me for? He said, you just secured a $1.5 million grant for Goodwill. And I'm like, oh my God. So was excited, just threw a dart at a board, and I landed. It was ex-offenders, returning citizens. And from there, it just went up, opened up offices in Houma, Baton Rouge. I also created the Goodwill Technical College that was on Canal Street, but I think they moved it since I've left. But I went before the Louisiana Board of Regents to, it was a long, tedious application, but I went before the board and was able to get that school opened. And right on the cusp of my leaving Goodwill, we were in the midst of accreditation. So I started the accreditation process, and my team that I put together before I left actually carried the accreditation process. So they have an accredited college. Good. Went over to SUNO. A board member called me and said, you're needed at SUNO. And I'm like, I didn't even know what position I was applying for. And so when I left Goodwill, I had raised an excess of $15 million in grant funding, foundation funding for returning citizens, kids aging out of foster care, mentoring programs, women and families who were homeless, veterans programs. So when I was asked to apply, I applied for the position, went on the interviewed with the chancellor, got the position. And again, I had to build that position as well. I walked in and it was just me and my secretary.
Wow.
And I was over advancement, public relations, and then I got added career services. So I, just built that and raised $8 million. And now I'm at Hope Ignites. And Sarah, I saw the position. Sarah called me. I called Sarah and I asked her about it, and because she was on the board, I interviewed, to believe it or not, with 5 groups of people, including the network CEO, and I got the position as executive.
All right, I heard you say Sarah. So what's Sarah? What sorority is
I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and my soror, Jara Jackson, she is in real estate. She actually was very instrumental with assisting me with knocking open the doors and getting this position.
All right, so listen to the audience. If you're on your lunch break, whatever you're eating right now, can you please take a break and dial in, phone in, or call in at 504-582-9422 to speak to Dr. Kim. And I ask Dr. Kim any questions that you may have. And if you've been listening, and in her introduction, she's already said that she's a fixer. And she's also that person that will go get it. So I'm hearing, and she's already told me that she's a grant writer extraordinaire. So we will be calling upon her to do some grant writing classes or things of that nature. So Dr. Kim, tell us about Hope Ignites New Orleans, and how did you originally get involved? You just told me a little bit about it. So tell me how you got involved, and not only how you got involved, and what have you done since you've been there. And I think we were speaking earlier, you said you've been there for about 6 months now?
Yeah, Friday made my 6-month period.
Okay, let's talk about it. Tell us about it.
Okay, so let me tell you just a little bit about the organization. We were formerly Boys Hope, Girls Hope. You equated us to Boys Hope, Boys and Girls Club. Yeah, we're not that.
Yeah, all right.
Boys Hope, Girls Hope. And last year, our network headquarters, we're one of 14 affiliates, decided to change our name because of the condition of the world. With having the, boys and girls name in our name, they changed it to Hope Ignites with a lot of, just thought and feedback from community members. They changed our name late last year to Hope Ignites. Hope Ignite, Boys Hope and Girls Hope, now Hope Ignites, has been around for 46 years. It was founded by Jesuit priest Father Harry Thompson and Judge Adrian Duplanche, Jesuit graduate. They created the nonprofit, and it was originally just for boys, the boys of the city of New Orleans, to save them. They lived with on site. It was a residential program, and from that, they lived with us, and then we were like parents to them. We get them to school. We made sure that they did extracurricular activities. We made sure that they had 3 balanced daily meals. Everything that a mother and father would do for their child, this organization was actually doing for those boys. They then decided that they add girls. And as a matter of fact, Jira was one of the first girls to graduate from Girls Hope. So we opened up our girls' home, and 46 years later, we have a boys' home and a girls' home. Right. And we serve 10 kids now who actually live with us every day of their lives. We make sure that they come from socially deprived backgrounds, economically disadvantaged backgrounds. Their parents want more for them, but some of these kids were latchkey kids. Right. Parents couldn't, they were working 2 or 3 jobs to just make ends meet. Right. And they chose Hope Ignites because they knew that their kids would get that care. They would get the meals that they deserved. They would get assistance with homework. They would do extracurricular activities. They would do community service. They would go to church. They would do everything that they would do at home, but they were living with us 5 days a week, and they would go home to their parents on weekends. So their parents are not turning over custody. We're just there as a filler to help them, make them whole.
So we got a caller that's calling in. Don, you're on the air.
Oh, I was listening to John, your show, and John, your guest, very much. I had a question about, I hear your background, education and hard work and exposure to opportunity. What role, and I was a member when I was in high school back in the 80s of DECA, the Distributed Education Program, which was work and school. What role does, you talk about how you did with high school, young adolescents and people of that nature. What role does, while they're getting their education, their diploma, dual credit, getting an associate degree at a Delgado, and so that way that they'll be technically trained and have opportunity to get some of these great jobs and be entrepreneurs going out. What role does that play in your program?
Okay, well, at Hope Ignites, because our kids go to Catholic schools, I'm very familiar with what you're speaking about, because I actually did my dissertation in dual enrollment, because I had a lot of dual enrollment students at the technical college, because we had carpentry, cosmetology. Right. So I'm very familiar with the dual enrollment program. But however, with Hope Ignites, these kids are Catholic school kids, and Catholic schools sometimes do not let them out for dual enrollment, like public schools. So although we support the kids in that area, we do not allow them to, the schools do not allow them to participate in dual enrollment. And I know some high schools do. I think St. Augustine does, but I'm not sure about the Jesuits and the Brother Martins. Because when my son was at St. Aug, he actually did dual enrollment at UNO and took a computer class. But because, these kids are going to Catholic schools, we follow archdiocesan rules, and dual enrollment is not really highlighted. And I don't want to speak out of turn, but I'm just going by experience, being a mom. Some of these schools do not allow that. However, at part of Hope Ignites, when you get to be 16, you need to work. So we do promote that work spirit. We do promote the entrepreneurial spirit, because part of the academy that I'm going to talk about later on does mention how to create businesses and, internships. So we don't do it within their day at high school, but in the summertime, the kids are exposed to and can take classes in other areas, or they can work.
Okay.
And one quick follow-up. Financial literacy, is that a part of your program?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, Don, if you have any other questions or if you want to get involved, I'm about to ask Ms. Kim all right, Ms. Kim.
Okay.
How can members of the listening audience support Hope Ignites New Orleans?
All right, so we are strictly driven by donations. funds. Our survival is on fundraising. And I believe that's why I got the position, because of my fundraising background, the money that I've raised in the past, and my grant writing ability. So to get involved, we always take a donation, take a check. You can always go online. Our website is www.hopeignitesneworleans.org. There's a give button. Click on that give button. You can do a one-time gift, or you can do a recurring gift. I like the recurring gifts because I know it's coming every month, and that'll help me. But that's one way you can give. We have fundraisers all during the year. Like, as a matter of fact, we're going to talk about a fundraiser we're having next week. We have a gala scheduled for the end of the year. We have a golf tournament scheduled for the end of the year. We're also in the midst of our spring, our annual spring giving period that ends on June 30th, because our fiscal year ends on the 30th. So that's also on our website if people want to give in that regard. But we also, if you're probably saying, well, I really, these are hard times. I don't have the dollars, but I can volunteer. Yeah. So we're always looking for tutors, and I want to shout out to my tutors from Loyola and Tulane. They do a great job with our kids, and part of the academy that we're going to talk about later on. I'm always looking for people to volunteer to be tutors. Financial literacy, I have a few people that volunteer to do that. Just got an email from one of my board members. Part of the academy is a day in the life of a chef. So he's going to come and do a kitchen demonstration, and he just emailed me and said, what do I need to bring? I'll buy the foods. You don't have to do it. So you can also get involved. We have to feed our kids. Right. We need grocery parents. And we have people that have been given to this program and cooking for this program for the last 30 years, but we still have some slots open. I'm a dinner parent because we had slots. So I said, okay, sign me up once a month and I'll cook. So we have an opportunity for you to be a dinner parent, a grocery parent, a personal hygiene parent, and a liquid parent, meaning water and juices and stuff like that. You can call our number. Our main number is 504-484-7744. And you can ask for Nathan, and you can sign up to be a dinner parent, or you can sign up to give groceries. You can sign up to be a volunteer. Our kids do community service. If you have some community service projects, they have to do 50 hours of community service. They have to participate in 2 extracurricular activities at their schools. So just, they have to work. Okay. So if you have those projects and you need help, call our kids. We will arrange something. But if I didn't name anything that you were interested in doing, give me a call. We can always talk. I'm open-minded.
So Chef Sherm from NOLA Rolla, if you're out there listening, please call in, because I know we was when you was on the show the last time, you spoke about the community refrigerators and things of that nature that you have. I'm quite sure that what you do would go hand in hand with the Hope Ignites New Orleans. So, Doc.
Yes.
What do you hope that Hope Ignites New Orleans brings to our community?
Well, right now in these troubling, hard economic times, there are families out there scuffling. I was on my neighborhood app this weekend, and I saw a mom begging, and my kids don't have any food.
Wow.
And, everybody chimed in. Where are you? We bring in groceries. Somebody said, I guess they must have inboxed her. They got her address. They were sending chicken over. They were door dashing. Parents are having a hard time right now.
Oh, yeah.
Kids are out of school. And I know my biggest expense when my big man was coming up, my son, was summertime. He was in St. Aug's band. Right. The boy was bringing friends home. I was feeding him and friends. And that's a lot of money. Right. But I was able to do it, but some parents are not. So right now, as far as Hope Ignites, we are there. We're not asking to take your babies away from you. We're asking to help. So if we can take up to 8 kids in each house. These houses are beautiful. They've been donated by benefactors all through the city.
Okay.
If you're interested in just visiting with us to see what, how the kids live, talk to some of the kids who are there, who are flourishing, they're happy, their parents are involved in their lives. That would be another way for you to get involved. If there's a family out there struggling and need help.
So that's my next question. What is the criteria for one to be involved or to become a part of Hope Ignites New Orleans?
Well, to be a scholar, and we call all of our kids scholars, come from an economically disadvantaged family and show a need. We do a battery of tests. It's a long application process, but we're actually taking in, and I'm so proud. We are on the brink of taking in 3 African American males, and I'm very partial to males, black males, because I have a son and I know how hard it is to grow up in this city or in this country as a black male. So to save those 3 young men from the streets, we're about to take them in. We could use about maybe 3 more girls. But if you're interested, just give us a call. My program director, Sterling Fleury, will get in touch with you. He'll do tours. The kids are allowed to spend a night to see if it's something that they want to do. And it's just really personable. So every case situation will look differently.
Right.
It will look different from others, but it's worth the conversation. If you're not sure and if you're hesitant, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing to be embarrassed by, because it takes a village to raise these kids.
Oh, yeah.
And our goal is that we have had 100% graduation rate from high school and college.
Okay.
So it just take a look at it, because even when we have taken kids as early as 4th grade, and those kids have been with us until they graduated college. Some of our, like right now, we have a set of twins. One will be coming here for pharmacy with a 0 balance, and then one will be going to Loyola with a 0 balance.
Amen. So, all right, before we run out of time, tell the listening audience about the Hope Ignites New Orleans and Women's Empowerment Breakfast that's taking place on next Wednesday,
Yes.
June the 17th, 2026 at the Metairie Country Club. Tell us all about that.
Okay. So a couple of years ago, we started the Women's Empowerment Breakfast, and, people are like, well, how can I buy a ticket? We actually have table captains who buy tables and invite 9 of their friends. It's a table of 10.
Okay.
They invite 9 of their friends. They pay for the table, but it's with the expectation, if I invite the 9 of you, you all are going to give a donation. Now, we all have, people can register for free, so you don't have to buy a table. You do not have to buy a ticket. But we are so sure that once you hear the stories that our scholars and our alums are going to tell you about how this program has changed their lives, you all are going to want to leave a check behind. And that's what we're hoping for.
Right.
So we're looking at about 200 people. And we do have tables that have been purchased for friends, but we also have tables that are empty. I have people coming in my circle. We have people that are calling and registering saying, I want to come. Okay. I'm going to be there. If you're interested in the Women's Empowerment Breakfast, it's just a day where all of the women of our community get together. We empower one another. And most of all, we empower our girls. That's part of this program. And you can go on our website again, www.hopeignitesneworleans.org. You can click on Women's Empowerment Breakfast and you can get your free ticket. Show up at the Metairie Country Club on June 17th. It starts at 7 and we'll have you out in time to go to work so you don't have to miss work.
Right.
And, we're hoping that you love what you hear and you're willing to either give a cash donation, some type of donation to help us out, or you may want to even volunteer and help us out.
And then not only that, but then once you're out of the breakfast, then you'll have time to tune in to Black to Business on next Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So, Doc, please tell us about the Hope and Knights Academy.
Yes. Okay. I'm excited about this because I was hired to do this. Like, when they saw my academic background and the money that I raised, they're like, Dr. Rugon, we're one of 3 affiliates out of the 14 that have not started an academy. All the other affiliates that have started academies, they are flourishing because they have moved from residential. Some of them have moved from residential and they have opened up full-fledged schools. Mm-hmm. So they're like, we need to open up this academy. We know that there's money when you start fundraising. There's money out there. So they gave me a goal in December when they hired me to open up the academy for fall. Well, me and, just being the person that I am, I'm like, why this academy hadn't opened up? We got 10 kids here. So the academy should open up with the 10 kids that we already have. Right. So, I started writing grants, Got $30,000 from one organization, got renewed for $25,000 for MBA. I rewrote that grant, and I'm able to start June 15th. I'm able to start the academy with 8, because the 2 graduates don't have to do it. They're working. But 8 of my kids, 8 of my scholars it's mandatory. After they finish day camp, they get a break, they start academy. I have 8 of my kids that's starting, and I have about 4 kids from outreach. And we started outreach like in May. So I know if I really do due diligence for fall, I'm gonna get a lot of people, because it's an after school program. People are having a lot of hard times paying for after school care. You can come to me for free. Your child can they're gonna get a healthy snack. They're going to get their homework done, and they're going to be doing the My Role curriculum, and I'm going to give them some incentives. I'm going to give them a little cash.
Okay.
So,
Cash
we're
is always
yeah,
good.
cash is always good, especially when you're 7th grade and somebody say, I'm going to give you $50, and it's going to go down in the fall because I'm going to have a lot more kids than I have this summer. But this summer, my kids, when they have 6 My Role, they have 6 My Role modules. Now, the My Role modules concentrate on academic support, health and mental wellness, financial literacy, personal development, and college and career readiness. So they're gonna get all exposed to all of those areas starting this summer, and after their completion of their first 3 modules, they get $100. One of my scholars said, I want a $100 bill. I never had that. I said, I'll make sure y'all get a $100 bill, and when they finish the other 3 modules in July, they'll get their second $100 payment.
Okay.
So my pilot starts on June 15th. Unfortunately, we cannot take any kids right now because we're ready to roll with the 14, 15 that we have, and but we will start in September, and I'm going to launch a recruitment campaign. I just gave the approval for my yard signs. I'll be placing them all through the city. This is a great way for parents who are looking for something for their kids to do after school and cannot afford that after school fee. We're going to pick them up and bring them to Hope Ignites. Jesuit is giving us classroom space, and then we will help them with their homework, and they will do the modules for 2 hours after school.
All right, so we're going to dip into the community calendar right quick. And as we've been talking about, Hope Ignites New Orleans Women's Empowerment Breakfast next Wednesday, June the 17th, 2026, at the Metairie Country Club. It's free $99, but you got to register. So please register to be there. And then once you get out of there, you can tune in to Black to Business. Our guest next week is Ms. Gina Carter, the owner of Embellished Event Hall. So please tune in to listen and partake in everything we have to talk about and discuss. We will be having a Jaguar Hornet trained to Birmingham, Alabama for the Southern University versus Alabama State University game from August the 28th, 2026 to August the 30th. Please contact yours truly at 504-343-1138 or 225-802-9634. Also, on July the 22nd at the Suno School of Business Auditorium at 6 p.m., the New Orleans Region Black Chamber of Commerce will have a membership meeting / membership drive. So please be there. And I would like to congratulate the owners of Untouchable Cigar Bar that's at 2020 Bell Chase Highway on their opening on Monday. And if you are willing to participate in a premier cigar experience, please go and visit. Doc, any last words?
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to just really educating the public about what we're doing. Hope Ignites is the best kept secret, and y'all about to see it blow up. We're about to ignite this city.
Let's do it. All right, Doc.
Thank you.
Y'all be easy. See y'all next week. Thank you.